So what's your name?
My name is Oliver X.
Where are you from?
I was originally born in Chicago, Illinois. Spent some time in Miami, Florida, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Parents are from the Caribbean. It's called a country called Belize.
How old are you?
I'm 27 years old. My earliest memory of feeling any type of racial discrimination would probably be at the age of 7. I grew up in a neighborhood called Hollywood, Florida, which was mixed. It was a diverse neighborhood. We had whites, we had black children, we had Latinos, we had Asians in the community. But you know, we'll go out there, we'll play kickball and whatnot on the streets, and like our neighbors up the road had big Confederate flags. We played with their children, even though we heard nigger this, nigger that. You know, it's just part of the Southern culture. But you get to understand that people don't look at us like they look at our white counterparts because of the color of our skin. However, because the legal system is catered towards them, and it was never meant for us, because when they came out with these Constitution and these amendments, we were slaves. But in the 13th Amendment, it says, you know, slavery is abolished unless it's a part of a crime. So now we got so many brothers that's filling up the prison and jail cells, which they make money from. And trust me, that's another form of slavery. We don't even have to figure it out no more. We don't have to guess. We can look. We seen a brother 2 months ago get beat up in Detroit coming from Ford Company. They beat him up. They broke his ribs and whatnot. They said that he probably had drugs on him. There was no drugs on him. The brother never even had a criminal record. There's no justice for that, brother. America is rooted in injustice. I mean, since they came from England, they wiped off our native brothers. They stole land from our Mexican brothers, and they brought us here and they raped us, took our name, our language, our religion, our culture. We were a commodity to them, property. You know, if the whole or the majority speaks up on an issue in America, a change will come.
What's your whole name?
So my name is Matt Hawbaker.
How old are you?
How old? I'm 30. I'm 33.
What year were you born?
I was born in 1982. My father, in particular, was not shy at all, at least at home, about using racial slurs. Apparently, he says he drove a school bus that was all black kids, and some incident happened where they like surrounded him and taunted him, and so he'll bring that story out. But really, I mean, it's just ignorance. That to say that race is no longer an issue in this country is, you know, you can't look past our history, and you can't look past, you know, the incarceration rates. There's virtually no difference between how many whites use drugs and sell drugs versus how many blacks use drugs and sell drugs. It's just a matter of where does it make political sense to, you know, put law enforcement resources. You know, they don't put them in the suburbs. I mean, this country was founded on two enormous evils. You know, we have slavery and we have the genocide of the Native Americans. You know, and this is like the unresolved issue of our country's history, in my mind. I mean, at this point, it just needs to be acknowledged by a majority of people, by a majority of white people. I think it's most white folks still have a very defensive reaction to saying that we have privilege in some way because of the color of our skin.
What's your name?
Keywan,
How old are you?
23.
What year was you born?
I was born in 1991. No, I feel like I always had some sense that it was different, you know? But it took certain, like, situations to make it like reality to me. I know I used to travel back and forth to Georgia, Colorado to visit my mom and my dad. And then I would start taking the Greyhound by myself for a while when I got like, I think I was 12, 13, 14, 12, 13, or 14, between those years. I'm taking the bus by myself, and I'm in Alabama. And I started getting on the bus, and there's a whole bunch of white people, and it's some colored people, but I'm the first black person to come. up to the bus driver. And what he does, he grabs my bus ticket, he crumbles it up, and he throw it on the ground. Throw it directly on the ground. And I'm thinking like, I'm young, man, I don't know what to do. I want to get on the bus to ride away, you know? So I was forced to just pick my ticket up and, you know what I'm saying, chalk it up, you know what I'm saying? But at that moment, I realized that, like, it's a difference. I'm sitting here in Spanish class, like, it's unfair, it's just like mental torture, subliminal torture. I'm the only black kid in class. We got Spanish from a white lady. She come in, she teaching us, we doing colors. You know, we learning the colors, and we get all through the colors, we saying all the colors, blanco, you know, and we get to black, and you know what black is, negro, you know what I'm saying? And all these white kids saying nigger, 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 and I'm in the middle of all the kids, being the kid, and she look at me, notice that I'm not saying negro or nigger, and she stops the whole entire class and forced me, a little kid, to say negro in front of his whole class. Been the only black one. So just from experience, looking back like that, it wasn't fair and it wasn't right, you know. It woke me up. You can look back, you can go far. So many different ways you can see where it came from. You can believe where it came from, think where it came from. But once we got over here, like Bob Marley said, we Buffalo soldiers, dreadlock rosters, you know? Like, that song is the story, but I feel like we've been fighting ever since we got here, you know? We Buffalo soldiers. I don't feel like I'm different from an Asian, black, Hispanic, white male, because we all humans. We all just in a shell, we in a body, and we having the life experience. So no, I'm not different, I just got a different vehicle.
We have to uproot the system that's been in place for centuries here. We all need to sit down, the best of us, the best of the whites, the best of blacks. And we're talking about, when I say the best of us, not like status or class, I'm talking about conscious folks with good minds, with vision, and to discuss our issues and our differences and figure out a way that we can have a solution for our problems. And if we can't get a solution, like I said, black people in America make $1 trillion a year. So we have the money, we can do for self. And I also want to mention one thing, because the increase in violence that's been going on and increase in injustice between us, our Native and our Latino brothers and sisters, has hit a boiling point. So this October 10th, 2015, is the 28th anniversary of the Million Man March. And we're going down there to petition our government for justice. So if you're really about justice and you're sincere in your heart about equality across the board, come out and support the brothers and sisters going down there.
In a lot of ways, it takes things like electing black people to prominent positions or appointing them to prominent positions so that their experience is backed up by real power. It almost feels like a full political revolution needs to happen, you know, just maybe not a different system of government, but you know, pushing out a lot of the people who have held on to power for a very long time.
Evidently, we're gonna need a reteaching, you know. It's gonna have to be a cut off of certain education and a renewing of a renewing of the correct education, renewing of truth, you know. We got to start with the children and don't pervert their thought process. Because I remember growing up and didn't even care if somebody was white. If they was green, I probably you know what I'm saying, thought he was sick or something, you know, and still treated them with love, you know. But we can't pervert our children's thinking. We got to just stop messing up with generations, you know. And as time go on, the bag gonna fade out. So we might not see it, but it can be here.
Violence and lost liberty will result without some revolutionary thinking. Of course, it could all be a bad dream, a nightmare, and that I'm seriously mistaken, and that my worries are unfounded. I hope so, but just in case, we ought to prepare ourselves for revolutionary changes in the